Yeah. First off, I want to talk about our three seniors, senior night for us. Start with Eli Yofan. He means a lot to our program, means a lot to me individually. He jumped on board here. He was here day one for us when we started building our program back in 2022 in the spring, or actually in the summer when he got here in June. He obviously does. It was cool that he got to start tonight. I got to pull him out at the very end where he got to get a standing ovation, which is well deserved for Eli. But I think a lot of what he does goes unseen. Just the day-to-day prep and practice, scout team. He gets our guys better, and he's been huge for our culture here in our men's basketball program. Then obviously Pete and Antoine joined our program. This will be year 2 for those guys out of the transfer portal. And those guys had a lot of options. And quite honestly, at that point, they had to believe in the vision that we had for this men's basketball program. And it wasn't because of the results that we had just had. They jumped on board because of the vision that we sold them on. And they've been a huge part of this turnaround. I mean, last year we won 25 games, single season record. Right now we're obviously at 27, another single season record here and wins in a single season in Miami's history. So both those guys are tremendous players and tremendous human beings, and super proud of those guys. Crowd was great. Again, it's just been incredible to watch our crowd just continue to build here during our time here at Miami. I thought we got a pretty good shot from Bowling Green. They started off real quick. Our defense wasn't great early. They had been playing predominantly zone over the last 5 games, probably about 95%. They came out and they played man, switching man, tried to throw us out of rhythm. But I thought we were scoring the ball really well, but our defense wasn't very good. We tightened it up. I thought after about the 12-minute mark in the first half, we went on a big run for the rest of the way. It allowed us to get out and transition when we started getting our stops. Then they moved a little bit of zone, and then they went back to man trying to throw us out of rhythm. But again, we have so many different weapons out there offensively. We're hard to stop on that end. We had to go a little bit more zone than I wanted to. Played a little bit more 2-3, especially in that second half than we normally do. But our defense has got to be better there in the second half. But good win, and obviously we'll move on to I think we got Eastern Michigan next on the road.
Coach, you talked about that versatility with your weapons. Tonight it was Skaljac and Elmer who both poured in over 20 points. What does it mean for this offense to be able to go to so many different guys?
Yeah, it's hard to prepare for. We don't run a ton of sets. We'll run sets on dead ball, so we play more free flow concepts, a lot of space. And our guys know all the solutions. So it's going to be different guys, different nights. Right? Tonight was Luke. Tonight was Ian. We had 4 guys in double figures, almost 6. I mean, Brant had 9. I think Trey Perry had 8. Trey was really good. When Pete got in foul trouble, I thought Trey gave us some really good minutes. But it's just strength in numbers, man. The go-to guy for us is always going to be the open guy.
Coach, every game kind of has its own fingerprint. What's your takeaway from this one specifically?
We got to get off to a better start defensively, and then we got to defend better at the beginning of the second half as well. We got to play 40 minutes. But again, give credit to Bowling Green. Todd Simon's a really good coach. Got a ton of respect for him, and Javante Campbell is, man, he's good. He just needs a little sliver. That's all he needs. I mean, it's just amazing how he gets in there and finishes and contorts his body. And man, he's a good player. He puts so much pressure on you. And Wall's talented, man. He can really shoot the ball, and he got going for them there in the second half. But our defense has just got to be a little bit better. I thought we'd been making great progress in that area the last 4.5 games, but not as much tonight. And that's got to continue to be the case here moving forward. We got to be better on that end.
Travis, Skaljac seemed to be in kind of a zone early on there where you hit from the outside and maneuvering inside a little bit. Just what he did for you, especially early.
Yeah, he's playing at a very, very, very high level right now. He's playing very confident with a ton of confidence, hitting threes, playing off the dribble, his midi. He's getting to the rim. He's playmaking for others. I mean, he's doing a lot of things on offense. You start to see how talented he is on that end, how creative he is on that end. I always joke around with him. It's, I always talk like baseball terms, like the great players playing different speeds. They have a changeup, they have a fastball. His is going, a lot of tight guys are slow to fast. He goes slow to slower, right? Like he's so shifty though. Like he's just like, he moves with the ball and he's very shifty, and he's got such a good IQ. His game's a little awkward, and he knows he can get the spots, and man, he's good. He's playing at a very, 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 very high level right now.
Why did you want him so bad? What was the thing you saw that you
Yeah, I said this on the radio right after. I was in love with him the first time I saw him play. Just his swagger, his confidence, his belief. It just, man, it was loud. It was loud. And I was like, man, that's one of our core values is embody undeniable confidence, right? And he has it. He's built for those moments, man. I'm super proud of him, man. Obviously, he's worked really hard, and Jonathan Holmes has done a nice job with him, his position coach. He's our associate head coach, who Jonathan should be a head coach yesterday, to be honest. He's been really big part of this rebuild. But Luke's a great player, man. He's a great player.
Coach, with March looming, how are you kind of preparing your guys to compete at a level they've never competed at before?
Yeah, listen, I've been on our guys. That's a great question. Like, cause I'm more obsessed with the trajectory rather than just the results of, hey, just getting these wins. And listen, we want to win every game, right? But it's more, are we getting better? Offensively, we're going to be a team that's going to score 90 to 100 day near every night. As long as we take care of the ball, and we're hard to stop. I don't care if you zone us. I don't care if you press us. I don't care if you go man-to-man, drop, coverage, hard hedge, switch. It doesn't really matter. I mean, we got so many guys, and our guys share it. Defensively, we got to have that identity, right? And it's got to be a man-to-man defense. And with the details matter, right? That's how you create separation, right? When you go on these big runs, because then we can get out and go and play at the pace that we want to play. We want to play up and down. We're the fastest tempo in the league. And we want to play that way. But you can't do that if you're constantly taking the ball out of the net, right? Like, again, we'll still try to push it, but they tried to slow it down with the zone press and all that stuff tonight. But our defensive identity's got to be right. And that's pack line. That's being good on the ball, not getting beat to the outside, being in our gaps, making sure our hedges are good and ball screen defense and our off the ball's tight. Like, those things got to be better, man. And I want to see that continue to improve here down the stretch.
Coach, you guys go into round 3 only up by 1. You win round 3, 9-3. You win round 4, 9-2. You ultimately carry that momentum to be up by 15 at halftime. What was the message going into round 3 and 4 for you guys to be able to build that big lead going into the half?
Yeah, we were scoring, I thought, really well. You know, there's a fast-paced game early. Our guys got tired. You could tell their guys got a little tired. There was a long no whistle there for a while, which I like. But like, you know, I thought just guard, you know, just defend. We weren't getting back in transition. I thought big boy Glover got to the rim, was out running our guys. We weren't tagging up. We call it tag up on the offensive glass. So we try to scrum everybody into the paint. So we send everybody to the offensive glass. Then you have your tag up. You don't have your man, right? So, but we weren't tagging up. So then we didn't know who to guard in transition, right? So I kept on telling our guys, we had 0 offensive rebounds in the first half. We finished with 8. But that really hurt us that we weren't tagging up, so we knew who to be matched up onto. And then just the effort piece in transition, building walls around Campbell had to be better. And I felt like we could go on that spurt, and we can go on big runs if we're getting the stops, right? So, and I don't know how many I don't know if we got 7 kills. I know we had 6 going into that last round. I don't know if we ended up with 7, but I told our guys to be consumed with that throughout the game.
Travis, how important is it at this point for just like the neutral college basketball fan or observer to just watch this team play and see how selfless they are?
Yeah, I think it's refreshing. I think in the landscape that we're in, man, you know, we have a lot of retention. We have real relationships. We have guys that have won before. They understand sacrifice. And we put this roster together being very, very intentional on what we've done. And I think that shows on the floor the way that our ball moves, the togetherness, the sacrifice, the connectivity on both sides of the ball. That's our superpower. And to be able to play on national television as much as we have here during MAC play, I hope people are able to see that, and hopefully it'll, you know, continue to grow our just our program, just the identity of our program on a national level, right? That's what we want for Miami.
Coach, there were contract talks on social media. Are you able to kind of tell us about that conversation with David Saylor a little bit? Or
Yeah. Liz, I would say number one, listen, I'm super grateful to be here. You know, I'm blessed to coach these guys and to be around the staff that we have, man. I never been happier in my life, if I'm being honest, professionally. I told our guys, we sat in this room probably about a month ago, and I told them, listen, as we get better, right, as we're going to continue on this journey, that there's going to be things and people that are going to try to grab us, right? That's just part of success. Whether that's agents or whether that's other schools, especially in the landscape we're in today, like, it's just part of it. Tampering happens, all sorts of stuff happens. And I told our guys, I addressed it to them, and I said, listen, it's happening to me. Right. So I said, but listen, what I asked our guys, and the promise, and that we trust each other. And I'm very transparent with our guys. I said, listen, fellas, we need to focus on the task at hand. Enjoy this ride. We'll deal with the stuff in the off season once that time comes. They gave me a contract extension. I have not signed it yet. Honestly, I haven't even looked at it. All right. So and just because we've been so busy going game to game. But I do think it shows the commitment level that Miami has. I'm very happy here. And I think some people will read into things differently, right? They're going to say, oh, well, he hasn't signed it. Why didn't he sign it already? We've been pretty busy. All right. Like, we're trying to keep this thing going. And I made that promise to our guys that I wasn't going to get distracted. I was going to keep the main thing. But again, some people will run with that and say, oh, he's going to leave. That's ridiculous. That's not, listen, that's the furthest thing from the truth. I love it here. My family loves it here. Our players love it here. Our staff, like I said, the people make the place. And I think that's what makes Miami such a special place, is people like David Saylor, President Crawford, the support that we get from administration.
Coach, Ian had 8 rebounds and 5 steals tonight. What does his physicality bring to the table that makes this team so great?
Yeah, Ian's one of those guys it's hard to take off the floor. Defends, he rebounds, he cuts, he runs, he can shoot, he can drive it, he can post you a little bit. He just impacts the game in every way possible. And like I said, he's having a first-team all-league year. And I think people are going to look at our stats and they're say, well, hey, you don't have anybody in the top 10 in scoring in the MAC. Like, dude, those are hollow stats. He impacts winning. Last time I checked, that's what matters. And obviously he scored a lot of points tonight, but he's the same, whether he scores 10 or he scored 21 tonight. He doesn't care. And that he's a winner, man. He's a winner. He's turned himself into a great player. Great player.
Coach, I know you've always been confident that this kind of success is possible. It's another sellout for Millette. Miles Garrett is in attendance. It just continues to be more and more star-studded crowds here. Did you ever see this part of it coming? I mean, just the level of attention that this team has acquired?
I think Chuck Martin's meeting with Miles Garrett right now in the NCAA to see if we can get him an extra year of eligibility. Maybe we could do that, huh? That'd be amazing. Holy cow. Best defensive player in the NFL by a mile. It's cool to have him here with Shea, who was a former player here. Bryce Boltman was here too, another former player, man. That means a lot to me. Listen, yeah, I mean, I when you're building a program, it's brick by brick, man. You don't want to skip any steps. And knew was always listen, this is the campus. When you drive on the campus, there is a buzz like no other. I mean, it is awesome. And Miami loves sports. They love sports. We just had to give them something that to get behind a little bit. We had to put out a good product. Right. But our marketing's gotten better. Everything's gotten better. And I give a lot of credit to them as well, to our administration. Everybody's pulling in the same direction. It's amazing what can happen when you get that. And we talk about alignment a lot, but things are very, very aligned here.
Luke, let's start with the biggest part of your night, career high in points. What was different for you tonight?
I would just say my teammates did a really good job of finding me. At the start of the game, Bowling Green, they were basically switching everything, and I had a few good matchups where I felt comfortable getting my shot off, and today they went in. But got to give credit to my teammates. They did a great job finding me when I was hot.
Luke, kind of talk about the emotion of the night, senior night. Your senior leaders are last game at home, not last game at home, but just talk about the night in general and what that's like to spend it with them.
We knew we were gonna celebrate the 3 seniors. Obviously, they've done so much for the program. Eli, Peter, and Antoine. Coach kind of said it before the game in the locker room, play for the seniors. So we all wanted to obviously play our best, give our best effort for them, and do it for them tonight.
What was Bowling Green able to do to sort of make it tough at times for you guys?
Yeah, they do. They play an interesting like matchup zone, which they've been doing like the past probably 4 or 5 games. I feel like in that when they do it, we just kept the ball moving, and then we made some tough shots tonight. So Ian was really good down the stretch of the second half. So yeah, we played well overall. We moved the ball well.
Luke, what's it like directing this team, leading this team? It's like you got so many different little weapons, and every night somebody can come off. Just what is the orchestrator of it?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's just the beauty of our team. Like we have so many good players that can hurt you on any given night. Obviously, I learned a lot from Evan. Obviously, he was the point guard before he got hurt, so I've watched a lot of what he does. Obviously, I don't play like Evan, but there's things that I can take out of what he does to make myself better. So just trying to stay calm, stay poised throughout like tough times during the games, and then obviously, like I said, we have so many good players that can hurt you.
How often do you talk to Evan during the games? Is that something you go to during timeouts when you're sitting on the bench, or is that just mostly your coaches?
No, yeah, he definitely after every media, like he'll come up and say if he sees something that I can do or something that I'm doing wrong, like he'll come up and tell me, and I'll agree with him. Obviously, listen to him. He knows so much about basketball.
I don't know if you saw Myles Garrett sitting courtside tonight, but as a Cleveland guy, what was it like seeing him at the game tonight?
I was a little bit starstruck. At halftime, he was kind of in the hallway, and I walked past and I was like, "Hey, I'm a huge fan." And I was like, "Oh God!" But yeah, it was pretty cool. He came in the locker room after the game, talked to us, but that was really cool.
As far as your initial reaction when you came in here, looked at the stat sheet, immediately called out the 5 turnovers. How do you balance focusing on the negatives of a game versus the highs of the game?
Yeah, I would just say it's just about being even keeled. Obviously, I got to get my turnovers down. The last probably 4 or 5 games, I've been above 3 turnovers every game, which as a point guard, I pride myself in taking care of the ball. Obviously, I make aggressive plays, aggressive passes, and sometimes they get tipped or whatever, but just being able to limit that, and then obviously just blocking it out during the game and focusing on the next play.
It looked like you guys were having a lot of fun out there tonight. What is it like playing in front of a sold-out crowd in a game like this?
Yeah, it makes you just you just have to play with energy. Like there's so many people there watching, like you don't want to come out there flat. And obviously the fans do a great job of kind of giving us that energy as well. But yeah, I would say just that many fans now that they're at our game, it's huge for us. Like we feed off of it.
How could you get so few D1 offers? I mean, have you gotten like tremendously better, or everybody didn't know what they were looking at, or what happened?
I probably had like 9 Division I offers, which like in my class was a good amount. Obviously, I knew from early that like once Coach Steele offered me that this is probably where I wanted to end up going. Both my parents went here. Just had kind of have that pipeline through here, and then Coach Steele's, I think, best coach in the country.
Well, you went to a lot of Cavs games, right? Did you go to Browns games too?
Oh yeah, went to everything. My dad used to have season tickets to both when he was younger with my grandpa, and then we had season tickets to the Browns games probably through like 2016. But since they haven't been winning a lot, we kind of cut that off. But